Hi everyone, welcome to another vegan bike rider. Today I'm talking about the BBC documentary Clean Eating's Dirty Secret. Wow, it's absolutely blown my mind, this documentary. I had to make this video about it. It's been a couple of days since I watched it. I've had to digest it, do a little bit of research as well. But yeah, absolutely blown my mind. I can't believe that it's out there from the BBC of all people. Why do I say that? Well, it's full of untruths and it's taking a very, very broad brush at one sector of society, which the BBC normally doesn't do. The BBC's documentaries are normally quite unbiased and well balanced. This one stands out as being the complete opposite. Why do I say that? Well, let's get into it. It was presented by a lady called Gracie Francesca. She's not a BBC journalist. She's a YouTube blogger, a very successful YouTube blogger here from the UK. Her channel on YouTube is Grace F Victory, and she's got 210,000 odd subscribers and just under 7 million views in total. So she's very successful at what she does. And the channel looks really professionally done. So, you know, that's all cool. She's probably making a fair decent living from that. And why not? That's, you know, everyone needs to live, everyone needs to earn a living. That's her business. Probably important for me to say right here and now, this video is not about ripping into Gracie at all. Anything I say is going to be fact-based, to bring balance and context to the BBC's documentary, not to be pointing the finger at any one individual. Cool. So what was the problem with the programme, from my view, from my opinion? As I said earlier, it's a broad brush taken to a small sector of society, which is the clean eating / vegan element of society, of which it's generally accepted there's less than 5% of most Western countries' population are vegan / clean eating. What the BBC went on to say in the documentary, if I kind of just give you a brief synopsis if you haven't seen it, and I urge you to go and watch it, it's an amazing documentary, is that the clean eating industry is full of people that are untrained, unqualified to give advice on food, that are on social media telling people what to eat and how to eat, and giving such bad advice that it's leading to eating disorders. And they balance this fact of theirs up with a nutritionist they bring on who completely debunks everything that they show her from these videos from the clean eating community. I found this quite strange because I went on to Gracie Francesca, the presenter's YouTube channel, and just had a brief look around. She's not a healthy looking girl at all. She looks very unhealthy. And a lot of her videos, I'm assuming here that they're aimed at young women or teenage girls. They're giving out advice, some of them on nutrition, some of them on beauty, some of them on wellness and well-being. I wondered if she was qualified to give any of this advice based on the fact that the BBC have taken her on to present this programme, highlighting the lack of qualified information given out in the clean eating industry and community. So I've looked on her website and I couldn't find any evidence. Now that doesn't mean she isn't qualified in any of these fields, but I can't find any evidence of it. So Gracie, if you're watching and you are qualified in these fields, great. Just drop the information down below, and you know, we can bring more facts and more sort of context to this video and about the documentary. So why would the BBC? This is the question mark that just sprung up in front of my face like a light bulb. Why would the BBC, an organisation that's government owned, publicly funded, normally very, very professional, and normally very, very well researched and well balanced documentaries, why would they attack a tiny part of society and try to paint them as being very, very, very dangerous and unprofessional and creating eating disorders in people? Why would you take a broad brush and say that any sector of society are all doing that? Why would you use somebody from the regular eating community? That's the best way I can describe it if you're going to describe one part as the clean eating community. Why would you take someone from that part of society who isn't the most healthy looking person to try to debunk the clean eating bad guys, if that makes sense? None of it added up to me. None of it added up at all. And I could only draw from this that what was happening was the BBC were trying to tap into Gracie's followers and that age group and that demographic and say, look, don't go there. Don't go over to that side of diet. Stick to this side of diet. Now, like I say, the BBC don't normally do that. They don't normally try to steer people. They normally just give out information and facts. And as I say, it's normally well balanced as well. But yeah, I couldn't see any sort of balance in this documentary. What was my issue with Gracie? Again, no real issue with Gracie. You know, I'm a YouTube blogger. I've got no qualifications in a lot of the stuff I talk about at all. I'm not qualified to talk about cycling or cycle mechanics or Formula One or how to cook a potato. But I do. I talk about all that shit. So what's my problem with Gracie then? I think she was used. You know, like I say, she's giving out dietary information on her channel that I completely and wholeheartedly disagree with. One thing she spoke about, there was one video, I think it was the 10 steps to being happy or being healthy. And I'm going to paraphrase it. This is not a direct quote. But there was a bit where she says, give your body what it's craving. You know, if it's craving fat, give it fat. Well, hold on. We know medically that the biggest cause of death in the Western world is fat clogging up our arteries, causing us to have heart disease. So, you know, this is why I'm shocked that the BBC used her, and I don't think it was well researched. Some other medical facts, and these are facts and statistics that have been documented for decades now. So it's not like a tiny intervention sort of study here. This is long-term data that's been gathered. Vegans live many years longer on average than meat eaters. And the reason is what we just talked about, which is high saturated fat content in meat, clogging our arteries, causing heart disease, killing us. So vegans who don't have that in their diet generally live longer. We know fat clogs up the arteries. Again, this is all medical fact. And we know arterial stroke heart disease is the biggest killer in the West. Why would the BBC target an area of society that doesn't indulge in any of that? Why would it not target the sector of society that is providing that unhealthy, dangerous food to the population in general? That was another question that I just couldn't escape from. Is there an agenda there? I mean, the BBC is government owned. The government make a huge amount of money from the food industry, like it in its peak and its heyday, and still does, when it made a huge amount of money from the tobacco industry. We now know how dangerous the tobacco industry is. But there was a time when doctors were promoting it as a healthy option, and there were posters everywhere saying how healthy it was. Now we know that's not the case. But it took decades for the government to take that stance. Why? or perhaps because there was billions and billions of pounds and dollars being made in tax revenue for them. Why are they not looking at the meat and dairy industry as a major contributor to death in the Western world? Perhaps it's because there's billions and billions of pounds and dollars being made in tax revenue from it. Who knows? Maybe. Let me know what your thoughts are on this. Leave some comments down below for me. I'd love to answer some questions on it. If anyone's got any more facts and figures they want to throw at this as well, whether it contradicts what I've said or not, you know, it's all about facts as far as I'm concerned. It's all about getting to the truth. I'd love to hear from you guys. And yeah, thanks for listening. Subscribe for more content, and I'll see you next time. Thanks a lot.